We are recording. YouTube group. How's it going? It's Multiplier here now. What if I told you there was a Wikipedia page, a Wikipedia entry that could tell you more about the world, more useful knowledge about the world than education? Well, then literally anything you could learn at school or university. This page looks a little bit like this. It's the list of cognitive It's the list of cognitive biases or cognitive dissonances. Basically, all the ways in which I haven't turned all the lights on. There you go, much better. Tiny little light. Studio is lit. It is the list of all the ways that humans misunderstand the world. Cognitive dissonance, cognitive brain malfunction, effectively. All the different ways that human beings understand the world in a way that's incorrect. Literally, this website explains everything. And so, in this video, I want to talk about one of them in particular, one of the most important ones, and I'm going to apply it to the music industry. But of course, this applies to everything else also in addition. This cognitive bias, this cognitive dissonance is called the survivorship bias. Basically, the survivorship bias is that the world we see, the world everywhere, in the case of music, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, etc., the world we see is made up of survivors. Things that fail or things that don't work, things that aren't popular, you don't see them. They sort of disappear, they just slip away through the cracks. And so, all the things you see are the successful ones. This paints a simply incorrect view of the world. You could be fooled into thinking, just looking at the world, looking at YouTube, looking at the suggested videos, looking at popular tracks on Spotify or SoundCloud. You could be fooled into thinking that that's the norm. My track's only got a bit of that. What's going on? What's going on? It looks like everything's successful. It's simply not true. It's the survivorship bias. Every single time you look at something in the world, actually, not even just on the internet, you need to have this understanding of the survivorship bias, that you're not looking at everything. You're only looking at the survivors, the successful things. And even more so in the days of these algorithms on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and so on, that actually only want to show you the successful things because you're more likely to like it. So you could be looking through Facebook and you could see so-and-so's got 100 likes, or so-and-so's got 1,000 likes, or you're on the Instagram and you see that a cat has a bazillion views and you have a lot less, or whatever it is. You don't see all those tracks that didn't pop off, that weren't successful, that didn't work for whatever reason. You don't see them. All those tracks that get released, even from your biggest artists. In fact, lots of your favourite artists will be releasing tracks on a week-to-week basis that you don't even know about unless you follow them like a maniac. Generally speaking, you won't see the things that don't do extremely well. So you don't have an accurate, just simply looking at the world through normal, I'm looking at the world. Generally speaking, you're just not looking at the real world. You're only looking at successful things. What can you learn from this? What can you learn from this? Most obviously will be expectations. You can't expect everything you do to be the very best thing you've ever done and to also pop off and do extremely well. It's simply unreasonable. Even the best guys in the world, look at the biggest record labels in the world, or the Sonys of the world. They have no idea who's going to do well. They genuinely don't. That's why they sign so many people and most of them completely flop. You can be signed to Sony and just get shelved almost immediately because they sign a bunch of people and then they've no idea which ones will work. So they try lots of stuff, see what works, and then ignore the rest. If Sony can't work out what's going to do well, chances are you can't either. So expectations. Don't expect everything you do to work. Also, don't expect every time you sit down in front of your computer for you to write a mega banger. I mean, you don't see, for example, because of the survivorship bias, all the times that Skrillex or Diplo or Martin Garrix or whoever you like, you don't see Steve Aoki, Marshmallow. You don't see all the times that they sat in front of their computer and spent 6 hours, 8 hours working on a track and they decided it was useless. So expectations, that's one conclusion. Less obviously, but in my opinion, just as importantly, is going to be the amount of stuff you produce. Let's say you make 10 tracks. You make 10 tracks and you're not sure which is the best one. Spoiler alert, no one does. No one has any idea what the best thing they make will be, or, I mean, best doesn't even really mean anything. So no one knows which when they're making their tracks, or take YouTube videos, for example. When I make videos, I have absolutely no idea which videos will take off and which ones will do slightly less good. I mean, I could take a bit of a guess. I could say my video on 7 things I hate about Ableton is more likely to do better than some obscure tutorial using some software that almost nobody has. So you can take some guesses in terms of just pure market size, but to take, say, 10 of my Ableton tutorials all doing the same sort of thing, just doing different things, there is no predicting at all which ones will do the best. And the same applies to music. If you talk to artists that have had hit tracks, remember, most tracks that do well are actually hits. It's not like an entire album does the same. Talk to those artists and they will say that the one that took off, no idea why. There's literally no predicting it. And so, a solution to this is make lots of stuff. To only make a small amount of things is to assume you know which the things you create will be good and which won't. And that's simply not true. So, let the market decide. Try something. See what starts to work. Maybe this one, and then run with those guys. In a sentence, make lots of stuff. Make way more stuff than you think you should do and release it. Remember, oh no, this is related to the survivorship bias. It is actually kind of related to the survivorship bias as a bit of a get there in the end sort of thing. So this is related to the survivorship bias because what you can do, if you make tons of stuff, let's say you make 100 things instead of 10, because of the survivorship bias, you can hide the 90 or the 95, the 98 that don't work and just push the 2 that do. Whereas if you make 10 things, there's a chance that they all disappear and that will be bad. So make tons of stuff, and because of the survivorship bias, people won't see the things that fail. In the world of YouTube, because of the algorithm, when you follow a new channel, when you start to discover somebody new, somebody new, you only see their most successful videos. You don't see all the videos that didn't work. I've already said that. Anyway, my point was, my secondary conclusion was, in general, people don't make anywhere near enough stuff because they think that everything they make must be the thing that is just is them and will live forever, when in fact, because of the survivorship bias, people only see the things that succeed. And so, effectively, it's okay for things to fail. Or not even fail, fail's the wrong word. It's okay for some things not to take off because people simply won't see them. They'll only see the successful ones, and therefore give yourself a better chance to be successful by releasing or producing, publishing lots of things. Something to think about, as I say, do check out this website. Genuinely, it explains, and I'm not exaggerating here, all of society, all of the world, since the beginning of time. Cognitive dissonance, it's a fancy word, but it's basically how we see the world incorrectly. Cognitive dissonances and cognitive biases. Do check it out, have your mind blown. The whole world explained on one page. My name has been Multiplier, and I will catch you guys on the flippity flip. Matt shot, Matt. Flippity flip. Flippity flip. Oh, I'm running out of ideas. I've done a lot of flippity flips. On the to flip, attempted flippity flip. was going to go so well. I'll try again. On the... Nailed it. On the... Casual. On the... On the... Flippity flip.